Guys, this is Adam from reelerin.com. Just thought I'd create a quick video about another question that I got asked through the contact form on my blog. It's a pretty common question, so I thought I'd create a video about it so I could just email the video out to people who ask the question in the future because I know I'll get it again. Essentially, they ask, how do I ask her out? How do I ask the girl out? And it doesn't have to be that hard, really. I know it's one thing to ask a girl out when you're 13 and a completely different thing when you're 35, but in essence, it's the same thing, really. You're just going to ask a girl out, and I'm just going to share my best tips for asking a girl out, really. I've asked tons of girls out, and yeah, it's really simple. I mean, just like with all other things in this just like with all other things when it comes to picking up girls, you don't have to overcomplicate things, you know. You don't have to think about them too much, and you just have to be bold, like with all other parts of life. You just need to take the risk sometimes, you know, and just go at it and hope for the best because it's better to get rejected than to not know. That's rule number one. So don't ever be too afraid to ask out a girl. It's better to get rejected and to be ashamed for 2 minutes, and neither of you will ever think about that again. Maybe you will, but she surely won't because she's used to it by now. But don't just don't think about it. And my best advice for asking a girl, like really, I mean, in this day and age, we have Facebook, and we have tons of different ways of asking girls out. Not that Facebook is my primary way of asking a girl out. I'm just saying that is one way you could ask a girl out really casually and just be like, hey, what's up? Do you want to grab a coffee real quick? That's two sentences on Facebook. So it's not even like personal, you know? You're sitting on your screen and she's sitting with a screen on her end on the other side of town, and you don't even talk to her. You're just writing a message. So if you're too afraid to ask a girl out by sending her just a simple little message, then you're not going to have much success otherwise. Really, you have to be bold. You have to take risks, and the one that takes the most risks, and the one that is most bold usually gets the most girls. So um, you have to go at it. And I mean, there's different settings in which you can ask a girl out. Personally, um, the most usual one for me is online. Maybe it's on Facebook, maybe it's on Tinder, maybe it's on whatever, but usually it's online. um, there have been times when I've asked girls out in real life as well, and honestly, if I can say this, at least in the town I live in Sweden, it's rare for guys to ask girls out face to face. I think that is a thing for like the generation before me or something, because in this day and age, at least in my town, the times I've asked a girl out face to face, and I've been just really bold and asked her straight up, like, "Do you wanna grab a coffee or some drinks after work?" They've really blushed, and they've really, I mean, all of them have accepted my invitation, and we've ended up taking a few drinks or a coffee or whatever. But the point being, judging by their reaction, and I've also heard from them afterwards that a guy hasn't asked me out like that before, and asking a girl out face to face is becoming way less common, at least in my town, with my generation. So um, by doing that, you actually show that you're confident and you're bold. So that would be my go-to strategy if I were you. Just talk to her, man. It's not that hard, and I understand if you're insecure about yourself and stuff, but you can always fix that. You can start hitting the gym. You can start just working on yourself. Nothing is forever, so to speak. You can always change things, especially your own body and the way you look and the way you dress and the way you behave and the way you carry yourself. So yeah, I guess my primary point is that if you have the option to ask a girl out face to face, do that, because it's going to be twice as good than asking her out through Facebook. Because if you do ask her out on Facebook, she might not read your message until after a couple of hours, or she decides to ignore you, and then you have just this awkward thing going on between you. And really, the most simple thing is to just ask her. But there's also one really important point in asking the right girl, because if a girl doesn't seem interested in you at all, then there's no point in asking her out, I believe. I mean, surely you could ask her out just to try your luck, but the thing with girls is that um, they usually show if they're interested. Girls are really, really good at showing with their body language if they're interested in you, from distance, you know, by looking at you, by smiling at you, by winking at you, by waving their hair, by fixing their hair, by whatever means necessary, you know. Girls know how to show that they're interested from a distance. So um, I would essentially, before I ask a girl out, that is, I would try to gauge if she's interested in me or not. But um, so try to do that, you know. Try to think of times where you've maybe communicated or had her look your way to see if she's interested in you. Even if she's not, even if you haven't been able to, you know, meet with her, maybe you just saw this girl that you're really interested in, that really piqued your interest, and you want to ask her out, then just go for it, mate. Seriously. Um, you know, there's um, there's no thing you're going to regret more than just not talking to a girl. I promise you that. It's way worse than getting rejected. Um, so take that as a lesson as well. Like I said, it's worse not to know than to get rejected. So get out there, be bold, and ask a girl out. It's not that hard. And make sure you visit my blog, reelherin.com, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube videos. I'll try to post approximately a video a day, although sometimes I don't have the time for it. Yeah, hope I taught you something good. Have a good one. Bye.